Good evening and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackle. Tonight we're talking presidential politics and the Louisiana Senate race. We have a very special guest from Washington, D.C., NBC's Chuck Todd, moderator of Meet the Press. Chuck, thanks for being here.
Travers, I love Louisiana because you guys, you don't end on Election Day. You give us overtime. So the political junkies, we love Louisiana's election calendar.
Just like the World Series, you get extra innings in Louisiana. We'll be going into December.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the presidential race. That will be over in November. It seems like Donald Trump is gaining ground on Hillary Clinton as we head into the home stretch here.
Look, there's definitely Republicans are quote unquote coming home is the term that's used, and you can see it moving in a hurry. At the same time, I do think the FBI news on Hillary Clinton really impacted her early in that last week. And then by the end of the week, you saw sort of the impact of it is starting to lessen. That said, I think we are starting to look at a race that looks awfully familiar. It looks a lot more competitive, more like a 2012 between Obama and Romney, or 2004 between Kerry and Bush, where suddenly the political map starts to look familiar, the red and blue divide starts to look familiar, and we're just sort of down to, okay, whose base is more excited, whose base is going to turn out in greater numbers.
Chuck, we're a hyper-red state here in Louisiana. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Yep. But what are the key swing states? What are the battleground states that either Clinton or Trump need to win this election?
Well, Trump has a much more narrow path, and I think the easiest way to do it is that, believe it or not, there is a scenario where Trump can win Florida, North Carolina, and Ohio and still come up short of 270 electoral votes. So Trump is sort of searching for multiple ways to see if he can find a path to 270 electoral votes. So for him, I would say the most important couple of states now, besides those big three I told you about, are a Pennsylvania or a Michigan. He needs to pull an upset in one of them. Neither one of them have gone Republican since 1988. And while they can be competitive, Democrats seem to have a stranglehold on those two states. We'll see, but that's where you'd have to pull the upset. If you're Hillary Clinton, Florida, I would argue, is your checkmate state. She carries Florida, and that cuts off every path for Donald Trump. You take those 29 electoral votes away from him, and him finding suddenly he's got to sweep Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan to make up for losses like that. So I think as far as the most significant and impactful state, if it goes blue, it would be Florida.
What kind of an effect has early voting had? About 30 million nationally, if my numbers are correct. What kind of effect, if any, has that had on this election?
You know, I think the effect it has is it gives the campaigns an idea of how to spend their last weekend. So we have some big states that allow a lot of early voting: Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. And I use those four as the example because we've had a majority of the vote is already in. Majority of the people that are going to vote have already voted. And we at least know the demographic makeup. So here's what we know. We know African-American turnout feels stagnant or a little down. We know that rural turnout is up. That's good news for Trump. But we also know that Latino turnout seems to be on its way to be higher than it was 4 years ago. So that would be good news for Clinton. The point is, what it's doing is it is telling the campaigns, okay, we know, and so the Clinton campaign is now hyper-focused on just turning out African Americans, whether it's getting to Philadelphia, Cleveland, Detroit, a lot of cities that she's visiting in these final days. Donald Trump is trying to gin up more support in rural parts of Pennsylvania and of Michigan. So the early vote has sort of given them clues to what they need to work on going into Election Day.
Chuck, we're going to talk about our Louisiana Senate race in just a moment. But first, let me ask you this about early voting. We had record numbers across Louisiana, even in Democratic stronghold parishes like Orleans, where New Orleans is. Does that change things here in this state, or will this state be considered just a ruby red state that's going to go Trump despite the early voting turnout?
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's going to change the presidential makeup of that state. But that does tell me one thing. If that is the case, then perhaps African-American engagement might be a little bit higher than what we've seen so far. Maybe African-Americans are waiting till closer to the end in places like Florida or North Carolina, because if you are seeing record turnout, particularly in Orleans, that could be a canary in the coal mine for what African-American turnout is nationwide. So that would be significant. But the other thing I do tamp down about early vote chatter is that the increase in people early voting is also sort of it's almost like in the same way that people are increase the amount that they watch a DVR or watch TV on their iPad. It's becoming more of a new habit voters are taking. So that a higher early vote doesn't necessarily mean a higher overall vote. It could be voters that have decided they don't like waiting till Election Day anymore, so they'll early vote too.
Let's talk Louisiana Senate race. Last fall, when he lost the race for governor, United States Senator David Vitter announced that he would not seek re-election. We have 5 major candidates right now, 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats. But this past week, David Duke was allowed to participate in one of the debates by the group putting it on. That debate made national headlines. How did that play with David Duke participating nationally?
Well, I think it's been look. It has become. To call it a distraction is an understatement. It is sort of this shiny metal object of the national media, and look, David Duke knows exactly what he's doing. He hasn't really been running a serious campaign down there, but he knows just his mere presence allows for extra attention to come from the press or to come from opponents. And he seems to almost take advantage of that. So I think it is, I can tell you, I think the actual impact it's had on the Senate race is that it has prevented, there was some talk, if Duke hadn't run, there was a chance that 2 Republicans might have placed first and second, and that you wouldn't have a Democrat make it into the runoff. I think Duke's mere presence has guaranteed that a Democrat is going to make the runoff, and perhaps things are a little more competitive than maybe we would have thought, depending on, of course, on who gets through this jungle primary.
All right, that's right. It's a jungle primary. Could be 2 Democrats, could be 2 Republicans. I guess we'll see on election night. Chuck, we appreciate your time, and we'll continue to follow you on election night with the rest of the NBC crew.
All right. Happy Election Day, Travers.
Thank you, Chuck. That's it for the Hot Seat. We will continue to follow all of these elections on Tuesday. For now, I'm Travers Mackel. Let's send it back to you at the news desk.
All right.